This is the Sunday Business Page with John Delano.
Good morning, I'm John Delano. Welcome to another home edition of the Sunday Business Page. And our very special guest today is John Hartner, who is CEO of a company out of North Huntington named ExOne. John, thank you, sir, very much for being with me today. I appreciate it.
Glad to be here, John.
So let me ask you first, what is this company, ExOne?
Yeah, ExOne's been in the business of industrial 3D printing of metal parts for more than 20 years. We grew up in the Pittsburgh area, and now we're a global business with operations in Germany, Japan, but really our heart is in Pittsburgh, and that's where our key research happens and some of the production of our systems.
You mentioned 3D printing, and that may be hard for folks to understand. You print things that are three-dimensional.
That's correct.
And you do it with metals. What's that all about?
Well, 3D printing, sometimes called additive manufacturing, is the technology, and we do it in metal, as you said, which is a lot harder than plastic, which maybe some folks have seen in a library or your children may bring home from school. Traditional manufacturing is what they call subtractive. They start with a large block of metal and they take pieces away until they have the small part. All those pieces of metal go onto the ground and are not reusable. We start with the digital file of the part. We slice that file so that we can build layer after layer in powder, metal powder. And then at the end, we only have the part, and the rest of the powder is reused in the process in the next part you build. So it's very sustainable, it's much faster, and it adds a whole degree of design freedoms to the creative engineers that are out there today in industry.
So you're essentially forming parts, but you're doing it in a printing style, which allows some flexibility for certain kinds of uses. And my understanding is that you just got a contract for $1.6 million from the Defense Department, so that I gather when military units are out in the field and they need a part, and they're a long ways from home, but they need it right away. 3D printing and ExOne can help. Can you explain that?
Sure. So, I mean, this technology, again, shortens the supply chain and allows you to have things much faster whenever you can't get it any other ways. We've started to focus on the government a few years ago, and we've been getting a range of contracts. This is one really interesting one because it takes that supply chain disruption and moves it, the point of use really close to the customer. Whether it's a humanitarian mission or whether it's a emergency, a hurricane, or maybe a snowstorm, or a frontline warfighter, if their vehicle or their system is down, how do they get that back up? They can't wait for weeks for this part to be shipped from a depot somewhere back home. So what we have is the digital file. Maybe we have that digital file in a cloud somewhere and they can download that and print locally within that container. Or we have an ability to take the broken part, scan it, do a digital repair, and then print that part all within a day. So we're really able to enable them to get their systems back up and running and do the jobs they're out there for. Again, humanitarian, defense, whatever those use cases are, we're really able to help them be most effective and get up and running faster.
It is an absolutely fascinating process, and I can see lots of uses for 3D printing. We only have about 30 seconds, John. Tell me about the jobs. Are you hiring? Do you have a lot of folks working in the Pittsburgh area? What's going on right there?
Right. We have a few facilities in Pittsburgh, North Huntington. We have some closer beyond the airport. And we've been adding people even this year. Some really exciting jobs in metallurgical sciences and material sciences, some technicians, and we continue to grow both our R&D and our production base in the greater Pittsburgh area. It's a really exciting place to be. And I think because it's the home of metal and home of steel, being a metal 3D printing company is very fitting, and we're really happy to be part of the community.
Well, John Hartner, CEO of ExOne, thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, John. Take care.
And thank you for watching us on this edition of the Sunday Business Page. If you have a suggestion for a guest, get in touch with me at jdelano@kdka.com. Have a great Sunday, everybody.